Welcome back, 411 Now family. So, today we are going to be taking a look at Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer. We're not going to be focusing in on all of the crimes that Gary committed and those that he admitted to. Now, he was found guilty of 49 murders total and received a life sentence. Gary Leon Ridgway is probably the second most prolific serial killer that has ever been active here in the United States. The only serial killer who has a larger body count than Gary Leon Ridgway is Samuel Little. And very rare company, and I'm sure there's probably a serial killer or two out there that hopes to get there. But Gary Leon Ridgway has and was convicted of 49 murders. Now, today, I don't want to focus on those 49 or the 71 or 80 that the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit believed that he may have actually had. Because even by Gary Ridgway's own account, somewhere around 70, he lost track. He never could count to the point where he said, well, there was that one victim, but he could not remember his total body count. And his victims, majority of them, were dumped in wooded and grassy areas in the King County area. But even Gary Ridgway couldn't remember if he had victims in other counties. He did often travel from his home to Olympia, to Tacoma, and to the Portland and Vancouver, Washington area. But he wasn't sure towards the end there when he was confessing and taking the plea agreement to 49 murders if he had victims in those other cities or other counties. He just couldn't remember. So today we're focusing on 3 victims. 3 victims who are still unidentified to this very day. Each one of them has been assigned a letter and a number. Here on the screen, you will now see the first victim. She is known only as victim B-10. Her age was between 12 and 18 years of age. The coroner puts her age at closer to 16 years of age. She is still listed on the Missing Center for Missing and Exploited Children because she was not an adult. But she is no missing person report from Washington, Oregon, Idaho, or Montana match her actual forensic picture. The body type, nothing matches. No missing persons report has ever been filed since she went missing and was found. She was found March 21st, 1984, nude, and Gary Ridgway actually led the investigators to her body. At the time when they found her body, the corpse had decomposed to the point it was just bones and a little bit of skin. He had left her completely nude in a wooded area and had come back to visit her several times. By Gary Ridgway's own account, he performed necrophilia with this victim, and he performed necrophilia with a lot of victims. Necrophilia was not necessarily something that was a component of killing these women to come back and have sex with their corpses afterwards. It was a way for Ridgway, in his own words, to stop from going out and claiming other victims. He had gotten his release initially by killing them, raping them, and doing whatever he wanted with their bodies. He performed the necrophilia to release those urges so he wouldn't have to kill again, in his own words. Again, her body was found March 21st, 1984. No missing persons report has ever been filed that matches her. Victim number 2 that you now see on your screen. She is known only as B-17. Coroner placed her initial age between the ages of 14 and 19. Later, forensic records, bone density tests, and growth plate analysis determined that she, again, was no more than 17 years of age. She is also listed on the Center for Missing and Exploited Children. She was found June 2nd, 1986. Ridgway said, in his own words, when he led investigators to her body, that he really enjoyed his time with her. That he really enjoyed his time with this victim. Admitting to coming back to this victim and performing necrophilia on her body in her as many as 10 times. 10 times. He said he only stopped when her body decomposed to the point where her skin was slipping off of her corpse. The third victim is numbered B-20. She was found August 5th, 2003. The coroner placed her age at no more than 13 to 24, but it was hard to determine because Gary had smashed her face in. And when the bones reconstructed to try to make an actual picture, they were unable to. There wasn't enough of the bones, and animals had scattered the bones from the face, so reconstruction of a picture of what she may have looked like never happened. Again, all three of these victims have never had a missing person report that has been filed that matches them in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, or Montana. Other neighboring states, California, Utah, Nevada, and New Mexico, towards the west, don't necessarily put all of their missing persons reports online. So it was almost impossible for the Green River Task Force to search through the records to find a possible missing persons report. Now, Ridgway admitted that most of his victims were either in the sex trade or they were younger, vulnerable women. The one victim that is numbered B-17, he said he picked up in the Seattle area after the car that she was driving in broke down. He kidnapped her from alongside the street. Initially, Ridgway strangled all of his victims with his bare hands, and then later changed to an extension cord or a rope because the victims fought back and were bruising his hands and his arms and his face up by swinging to try to get him to stop. So he found another way. Some of these victims were attacked and killed in his car. Others were attacked and killed in his own home. Other victims were attacked and killed out in the wooded area where they thought that they were just turning a trick with another John. But it should be noted, again, not all of Ridgway's victims were prostitutes, drug addicts, or anything of the sort. Some of them were just runaways. Some of them were just in circumstances where Ridgway crossed their path, and he took them anyways. Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer. According to the FBI's Behavior Analysis Unit, they put Gary Ridgway's total body count at probably closer to 75 than the 49 that he was actually convicted of. Where are the other victims? Ridgway's not talking. He has refused any communication with the FBI, the Seattle Police Department, the Green River Task Force, or the Washington State Patrol, or any law enforcement officer for that matter that has wanted to talk to him about possible victims in other jurisdictions in parts of the state or in Oregon. He has refused. He is enjoying the life he has currently in the Walla Walla State Penitentiary, where he is serving out life without the possibility of parole. Gary Ridgway, according to the Walla Walla State Penitentiary Warden's Office and their Office of Communication, has at least 40 different pen pals that write to him on a semi-regular basis. Gary Ridgway, all of his communication coming in and going out is screened. And it will be for the rest of his life. The number one thing that the Green River Task Force and the Washington State Patrol want to avoid is a copycat. Someone who takes, clues from Gary Ridgway and what he did, copycats it, and puts it to use. Gary Ridgway, serial killer, sadistic killer, and a necrophiliac. Gary Ridgway, convicted of 49, but may have killed as many as 75. Here at the end, I will put a list up of the women who are still missing, who very well may have crossed paths with Gary Ridgway and their bodies have yet to be found. This is just some of them. Victim 50 onward. These women who you've seen here today, and the third who I don't have a picture of because they were not able to make a reconstructed picture of what she looked like, all deserve to be laid to rest. Their families deserve to have closure, to know what happened to their loved ones. But that'll never happen as long as Ridgway keeps his mouth closed and refuses to talk. And yet, there are women all over the world begging and wanting to marry and spend their lives with Gary Ridgway, the sadistic serial killer. Thank you for joining me today. And you, stay safe out there.